Hey everybody, it's Candy, aka Brown Eyed Girl 69. How y'all doing? Well, let's see. Today is February the 10th, so I guess that makes it officially the 41st day. I do have a video that I'll probably upload before I upload this video, and that'll be the one that I made while I was sitting in my car tonight on my 30-minute break. Nothing special. I think it was like maybe a 5-6 minute video at the most. And I thought, well, I came home. I'm off work tomorrow. I came home, and as soon as I walked in my door, I heard my washer washing. And then I seen a pile of clothes next to the laundry area. Yeah, Kelsey dropped off some laundry. I didn't even have to ask her. So I like that. The fact that I didn't even have to ask her to get the clothes together for me. So basically, that's what I'm doing. I like to sort through the clothes. It's easier for me to sort through the clothes. So I lay them out in their own little like piles. I put Finian's clothes because all his clothes together is usually a decent size load. And then I'll separate out the girls' clothes. I'll separate out the pants, the long sleeve shirts, the short sleeve shirts, and make their own like respective piles, pajamas, um, etc., etc. Because, and I like got a pile of underwear and socks over here too. But I do that because I feel like I can. Oh wow, this is cute. Oh, look at that! It's a cute little PJ outfit. Well, it might not be PJ, but it could be. But it's cute. Love Diana. I've never heard of the brand before, but it is what it is. Let's see. Oh, gotta do it this way. Nope, I had it right first time. I think this is Cadence's dress, and Everly's is pink, I think. Which, oh, there we go. No, this one's Cadence's. Cadence's is the pink one, and Everly's blue. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. So yeah, I'm just sitting here sorting through clothes. Um, I actually watched the halftime show. It's on YouTube. So I watched the halftime show, and honestly, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. I mean, other than the fact that the songs were sang in Spanish, I just put on the settings for the closed captions to read in English, so I was able to read the words, of what was being said. And I thought it was cool that a couple got married there. Um, the fact that he mentioned all the countries in Americas, and that is not just the United States of America. That includes Canada, Mexico, all the other Hispanic countries, all the way down to Central America, all the way through South America. All that is America. All these countries is America. We just happen to be what they call the United States of America. But Canada's even America. You know? I just don't get why people get so upset over another American citizen that speaks a different language than them, you know? Because honestly, it's a good thing to be bilingual. I wish I was. Um, I made a mistake in high school. I was wanting to take Spanish. We basically had our classes picked out. Then we had to stand in line based off those classes to get signed up for that specific hour. Well, so we were able to basically uh, special tune our schedules. It was my junior year, and I wanted Spanish in second hour Spanish class. The line was long. I remember who I was behind. I went and had the rest of my schedule filled out, all my classes. I signed up for all my classes except for second hour. When I went back to the line for my second hour Spanish class, there was one boy that had gotten in between. Basically, there was one boy where I had been. So I walked away, and only one other person came up behind me that took my spot. So then I came up behind him and was behind him. And I get to the teacher and I told her, yeah, I want to sign up for second hour. And she's like, I'm sorry, but second hour is already full. In fact, the boy that was just in front of you, he took the last spot. So, because of the fact that I had jumped out of line, I missed out on getting in Spanish class. So then I had to pick out another class for that hour that had some availability. And it had to be an elective class. So I think that was the year I signed up for photography yearbook, journalism, photography and journalism. That's what it was. It wasn't yearbook, but we did do some yearbook stuff because of the fact that the people that was in the photography class was the photographers of the yearbook events. Anyway, uh, so I never took Spanish, but Kelsey, she took Spanish 2 years in high school, and she had a lot of Hispanic friends also while she was in high school. So it really helped her out because she was able to keep up with her Spanish by talking to her friends, her Hispanic friends in Spanish. You know, it wasn't hard for them because, well, they were Hispanic and they grew up with Spanish speaking parents. So they already automatically knew the language and they just helped her out by conversating with her in Spanish. Now she's almost 27. She's been out of high school, what, 9 years? And she still knows a little bit. But it's kind of like if you don't use it, you're going to lose it, basically. Um, so, because of the fact that she doesn't do a job that requires her to be bilingual, she doesn't ever utilize what she learned. So, it's still in there. It's just like on the back burner. Well, I got all the clothes sorted out. Well, actually, I have another little basket over there that has like just a handful of clothes that I threw in there. And then I realized that I was just going to sort the whole basket over here while I was sitting down versus trying to stand up and bend over to sort the clothes. My knees have been giving me major issues lately. Here's a nightgown. Put it in the pile with the pajamas. And there was a few more over here. But yeah, let's see what all I got. This way I got all the kids' clothes sorted, and I basically got Kelsey and Hunter's clothes sorted as well. Oh, okay, I guess only one of the girls wore that sweat outfit this week. There's a lot of short sleeve shirts in there too, so it was a little warmer this week. So they got to wear their cooler clothes, I guess. Well, let's see. I'm trying to look at everything to determine how many loads is this going to be. Let's see if I was to do all those together. Do all those together. That's a load. That could be a load. Kids' clothes is going to be at least 3 loads. And then I got at least 2 more loads. 2 smaller loads. If I add some of my clothes to it, it'd be 2 small loads. 2 decent loads, whatever. Um, so I got about 5 loads of laundry to try to get done and accomplished in by tomorrow night. I don't know if I'll be able to accomplish it or not, but I'm going to try. And there's already 2 loads in there. 1 load drying and 1 load washing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 loads altogether. And that's just about 1 week's worth of clothing for all of them. For my daughter, my son-in-law, and my 3 grandchildren. 7 loads of laundry for about a week's worth of clothes for all of the kids, or for all of them, for 5 people. But anyway, that's what I'm doing on this 41st day of year 1. Sitting here doing some laundry. Like I said, I watched the halftime show, the Super Bowl, just so I could see if there was any hype, what the hype was all about, or if there was going to not be any hype. I'm sure there's some people out there that's going to try to break it down, and because the Super Bowl is a superb owl ritual, is what it is. Every Super Bowl is a ritual. The winner is predetermined. The the what player of the game, best player of the game, or whatever. It's always predetermined as well. It's not really determined on their performance in the show, because that's what it is. It's a show. It's entertainment. you know, keep them. You know, keep them basically distracted with entertainment, bread, and circuses, and the people will never revolt. I don't think anybody's ever revolted here in America, United States, unless it was in the Civil War. That was, the North versus the South, whatever. But that whole war that we were, the history behind the war and everything as to why it supposedly started, that was all lies. I mean, there was a Civil War, but it wasn't. It didn't happen because of the reasons they gave us. It happened for different reasons, completely different reasons. Just like World War II and all the other wars, World War One. Um, the winner writes the history books. So of course they're going to write it to benefit them, right? I was on a live today, and they were talking about war and all this stuff, and war only happens because of men that have a lot of money and they don't know what to do with it, and they're bored, and they don't care about the rest of the human race, whether who gets hurt, who lives or dies. I believe it was one of the Rothschilds' mothers. I think she was the mother of the mayor. Well, she was the mother of all the Rothschild boys, but she basically said if her sons want war, they'll have war. Wars are always funded by those that want them, and the funding is given to both sides. Both sides are given the same amount of funding and say, go at it. You know, however you want, go at it. Let's have a show. Let's see what you got. That's how I see it. So basically, wars happen because evil rich men want them to. It's not because there's any disagreements amongst these countries. Even though I'm sure there's disagreements amongst countries, but not enough to go over to, have a war over. And all countries their leaders are in bed together. They all work together behind the scenes. It doesn't matter if they're a leader of United States, China, Korea, Australia, England, Germany, France, Middle East, Israel, doesn't matter, Russia, they're all in bed together, trying to bring about a one world agenda where all the humans are locked down, where all the humans are chipped, where all the humans are under surveillance, um, and that's it. You know, one world government, one world religion, one world money. That's the end goal for them. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but they're going to try like hell to make it happen with all the false narratives that they push in front of the humans that keep their eyes glued to the boob tube, keep their eyes glued to the TV screens, phone screens. See, it's like me. I know a lot about what's going on out there in the world, even though I don't pay attention to it. Even though I don't pay attention or watch TV or anything, I know what's going on. I have eyes. All I got to do is glance through the headlines to have an idea as to what's going on. All I got to do is read a few news articles to know what's going on. The numbers that they use, the symbols that they use, I know what's going on without having to pay attention to it. 17 years ago, I turned off my TV. It was actually turned off for me. And after having it off for a while, I just realized that it wasn't worth turning back on. And then I basically traded my TV for my computer. And then I was just online all the time. researching things, you know. I didn't really start researching stuff until like June of 2009 is when my awakening actually began. It took 6 months of me not watching TV for my brain to clear the cogs out and allow me to start questioning things and thinking for myself, not allowing the government or the pharmaceutical industries or the religious cults to get to me anymore, you know? Deconstruction process has been a long, hard road. Um, Honestly, I think we're always going to be continually deconstructing from our childhood programming. Um, but it really isn't hard to do. Um, it might be a little bit more difficult for those folks that don't live a life of solitude, for those folks that are involved or have families where they don't have as much time to dedicate to themselves. So the deconstruction process from all the indoctrination programming might take a little longer for some people. Um, for me, my deconstruction process started. Yes, my daughter was or she was 10 years old when the process started. Um, and I'd been with Daryl at that point in time for about 5 years, for a little over 4 years actually. We were in the beginning of our fifth year of being together. But Daryl's the one that wanted me to get the computer. So he didn't mind that I was on the computer all the time. In fact, he was usually sitting not too far away from me in the background, uh, giving me input as to what to look up, what to research, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but for the last 8 years of my life, I've basically lived a life of solitude where it's just me, myself, and I. Even when I was living in Portland, Oregon, and had a roommate for a short period of time before she moved out, and then I was alone in that apartment for about 3 months, and then I got a roommate, another roommate whom I've never seen. So it was kind of basically like living alone, even though you knew somebody else was there in and out um, when you run around as well. Um, so I've lived a life of solitude, even if I've lived with other folks um, before I completely was like living on my own 100%, or when I was traveling on my own. Um, I still had time for myself and my own thoughts. But now that I've been back here, let's see, I moved back here February 21, so I've been back here 5 years. Come my daughter's birthday. Uh, so 5 years of being in my hometown and 5 years of not having a relationship with anybody, basically not having any friends, basically just working and doing what I do, you know. Um, so I would encourage anyone that's out there, regardless of your living situation, to try to dedicate more self to yourself, more time to yourself. Um, it really is an invigorating experience at times. It's also frightening at times. It's also a blessing at times. It gives you definitely gives you different perspectives on life when you look at things differently than you were programmed to look at it, you know? Anyways, I've been going on here for about 24 minutes, and there was a lot of things that I said that I didn't really plan on saying. But that's just how it goes sometimes around here, you know? Um, I have many thoughts that run in and out of my mind at all times. I'm an overthinker sometimes, and then sometimes I think I don't think enough. I guess it just depends on the day. Peace, love, hugs, nugs. I'm sure I'll be around tomorrow sometime. I do got a few things going on. I got my pest control coming. I did schedule myself to DoorDash from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow, and then again from 6 to 9, I think. See how that goes. That's 6 hours tomorrow. I'm definitely going to dedicate 2 3 hour blocks of time to door dashing to see how things go. Um, I'll probably just DoorDash here in town. I don't really have a desire to go out of town. On Thursday, I will be going to Norman anyways for some Dutch Bros. And so I'm definitely going to try to dash while I'm up in Norman on Thursday. And who knows? Maybe tomorrow while I'm out and about dashing, I might make a short video of me dashing. I don't know how well that'll work. I don't want it interfering with my app. So I don't know. I'll have to try to figure something out. I'm thinking about trying to get a small webcam. That'd be kind of cool too. Get a small webcam, and so that way I can film me door dashing and film at other times as well. Anyway, peace, love, hugs, nugs. Till the next time, I'm out.